For 9 days, the search for 4-year-old Javeayah Harris had one goal: find her. On July 9th, that search ended, but not the way anyone hoped. Sheriff Marty Sawyer walked to the podium, and what he said next changed the entire understanding of this case. The truth is out, but it came at a cost none of us were prepared for.
Good morning. I'm Marty Sawyer, and I'm the sheriff in Aiken County. Thank you for being here today, especially the citizens of Aiken that's come in. Thank you for being here. And I'm here to provide an update on the investigation that we've been investigating the death of 4-year-old Javeayah Harris. These updates never get easier to share. This past week has been heart-wrenching for everyone, but we've seen an outpouring of support in Aiken County and a massive joint law enforcement effort to search for and now to seek justice for Javeayah Harris. Personally, there's some very harsh words that I would like to use about Johmarea and Michilae and their actions, but I will not do that. And I will not do that to protect and maintain the integrity of this case. But I will tell you this: I will not refer to them as mom and dad or mother or father. Amen. They don't deserve that title. I stand before you saying this is one of the most difficult, deeply disturbing, and emotionally taxing investigations this office has ever worked, and it's weighed heavily on this sheriff's office, all these other law enforcement agencies, all these people behind me that's worked tirelessly to bring this to an end, and it's weighed heavily on our community. I am truly sickened to share what this investigation has uncovered. From the moment Javeayah was reported missing, the sheriff's office, as well as our law enforcement partners and first responders, we responded with urgency, determination, and compassion. What started as an exhaustive and complex search quickly grew to something that I would have never imagined. Now understand, I cannot discuss all the details should have stopped the train. Understand that I cannot discuss all the specific details in this case. But at this time, I can share that a few human remains were recovered in an area known as Cedar Creek Reservoir, also known as Stumpy Pond in Fairfield County. These remains were immediately sent to the State Law Enforcement Division, and through analysis, the DNA of the remains are consistent with being the biological offspring of Johmarea and Michilae. I want to also share with you that through forensic evidence, statements, and analysis, extensive and deliberate efforts were made to destroy and conceal evidence following Javeayah's death. Our information reveals the use of corrosive chemicals and other tools that were used to accelerate the destruction of her little body. After this was completed, these two individuals poured what remains were left of Javeayah into the Cedar Creek Reservoir. These subjects went through great lengths to cover their repulsive and revolting actions. In my 37-year career in law enforcement, I have never, ever heard of anything so horrific. As a result of this information, it's unlikely that the entirety of Javeayah's body or any other remains from this point forward will be recovered. And I'll say this again, we had all hoped and prayed to find her body, but with the information we've uncovered, that's simply not possible. I want to also announce additional charges for destruction and desecration of human remains have been filed against these two individuals. I know this is heartbreaking for anyone who's followed this case. It's heartbreaking for our office. For all the law enforcement across the state that's worked on this case, countless hours to find every piece of evidence with the hope of bringing Javeayah home. It's heartbreaking to our community. Our commitment has been to pursue the truth regardless of how difficult it may be. While no announcement can lessen the profound loss in this case, our commitment remains unchanged. Today is not only about the evidence recovered, it's about a child whose life was taken far too soon. While today marks a painful chapter in this case, it does not end our work. Our investigators will continue to pursue every lead, examine every piece of evidence, and work closely with the Second Circuit Solicitor's Office to ensure that justice for Javeayah is pursued. I ask you to pray. Pray for Javeayah and her extended family, our staff, all these other law enforcement agencies, and this community.
Welcome back to Crime Beyond the Shadows. If you watched our first video on Javeayah Harris, you know the story that led us here. A missing 4-year-old, a mother's 911 call, and parents who were later arrested and charged with her death. If you're new, we'll bring you up to speed in 60 seconds. Either way, this episode is about what happened next. Here's what's new, confirmed directly by Aiken County Sheriff Marty Sawyer on July 9th. Investigators recovered human remains from a lake near the Fairfield and Chester County line. DNA confirmed those remains belonged to Javeayah Harris. And in the most disturbing detail of this entire case, Sawyer revealed that her body had been destroyed using corrosive chemicals, then disposed of in the water. He also said something that will define how this case ends. It is unlikely her full remains will ever be recovered. Both parents now face new charges because of it. We're going to walk through exactly what the sheriff said, in his own words, and what it means for where this case goes from here. If you're just joining us, Javeayah Harris was reported missing on June 30th by her mother, Michilae Herring, who called 911 saying her daughter had vanished while playing outside their Aiken, South Carolina home. Days later, investigators arrested both Herring and Javeayah's father, Johmarea Harris, charging them with homicide by child abuse. Arrest warrants revealed both parents had confessed, and that Javeayah had likely been dead for close to a month before that 911 call was ever made. That's where our last video left off, with a body that still hadn't been found. This video picks up exactly where the search did. Search boats from the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources and SLED had spent days working an area near Stumpy Pond, close to where Debutary Creek meets Rocky Creek Lake. On the morning of July 9th, Sheriff Sawyer called a press conference. Here's what he told the public. Sawyer confirming human remains recovered, DNA match to Javeayah Harris. That confirmation alone would have been the story. It wasn't the whole story. Sawyer describing the use of corrosive chemicals / remains. Dissolved. Poured into the lake. Those are not words investigators use often, and they are not words Sawyer delivered easily. Multiple outlets reported he visibly struggled to get through the statement, a detail that tells you something about what investigators were actually confronting at that scene. Sawyer on likelihood that full remains will never be recovered, if available. That single line reframes everything that comes next in this case. There may never be a complete recovery. Prosecutors will have to build their case around what chemistry and time have already taken away. Because of what investigators found, both Johmarea Harris and Michilae Herring now face additional charges: destruction and desecration of human remains, layered on top of the original homicide by child abuse charges.
Your bond was denied on the murder charges, homicide by child abuse. I do find that you probably qualify for a court-appointed attorney. You need to contact the public defender's office, and that number is on the paperwork. Your first court appearance is scheduled for August 28th at 9 a.m. Your second appearance is October 23rd at 10 a.m. Initial and sign where it's highlighted yellow. You will get a copy of everything you sign. Victim services. All right, if appropriate, based on you being in the jail, and if you can comply with DSS, that's a condition. All right, based on the totality of the circumstances, I do find that you're a flight risk and a danger to the community, and I'm going to deny your bond. Thank you. He's got it now. I'll give it to you.
Javeayah Harris now making his court appearance on that same charge.
You can have a seat. State your name for the record, please.
Javeayah Harris.
Mr. Harris, you have a right to a jury trial. You have a right and an obligation to attend all court proceedings. If you do not show for a court date, a bench warrant may be issued for your arrest. You may be tried in your absence, or you may face additional charges. If your charges are dismissed or you are found not guilty, you have a right to have them expunged, which means they will come off your record. You have a right to represent yourself, hire an attorney, or see if you qualify for a court-appointed attorney, which we will start in just a moment, but you will need to contact the public defender's office yourself to see if you qualify. This charge will be heard in general sessions, therefore you're entitled to what is called a preliminary hearing. A preliminary hearing does not determine guilt or innocence, but determines if probable cause exists to move forward with your case. If you would like a preliminary hearing, you need to submit the form I'm going to give you, notice of preliminary hearing within 10 days of today. You're charged with destruction of human remains, which carries a mandatory 1 year up to 10 years and will be heard in General Sessions Court. The first set of forms is a checklist of the rights I gave you. The next set of forms is more information about your rights to an attorney. Do you want me to see if I think you qualify for a court-appointed attorney?
No, ma'am.
You're going to hire an attorney.
I have a lawyer already.
Okay. Your first court appearance is scheduled for August 28th at 9 a.m. Your second appearance is October 23rd at 10 a.m. Initial and sign where it's highlighted yellow. You will get a copy of everything you sign.
Yes, ma'am.
Victim services.
Yes, I'm just asking that he complies with DSS.
Yes, ma'am. You hear me?
Yeah, you're to comply with DSS requirements. Based on the totality of the circumstances, I do find that you're a flight risk and a danger to the community, and I'm going to deny your bond.
Herring also faces a separate charge for filing a false police report. The same report, investigators say, that opened this entire case on June 30th. Think about the timeline for a moment. If Javeayah had already been gone for weeks by the time that report was filed, every day of the public search that followed, the volunteers, the vigil, the community holding on to hope, was happening after the outcome had already been decided. That's not something the sheriff's office has commented on directly, but it's sitting underneath everything they've said since. As of this recording, a few things remain unconfirmed. Investigators haven't disclosed exactly what led them to Stumpy Pond in the first place, only that they developed what they called an area of interest. They haven't released a full timeline covering the weeks between Javeayah's death and the 911 call, and questions continue locally about the well-being of Javeayah's newborn sibling, since Herring told dispatchers on June 30th that she was 39 weeks pregnant. No official statement has confirmed that child's status. Both parents remain charged, not convicted. No trial date has been made public. Sheriff Sawyer closed his July 9th update by saying investigators would continue working to recover what they could. For a case that began with a search for a living child, it's a hard place to end up. But it's the truth, and it's the reason we came back to this story. If there's a detail from the sheriff's own words today that stayed with you, tell us in the comments. We read all of them. And if you want the next update the moment it's confirmed, subscribe and turn on notifications. This has been Crime Beyond the Shadows. We'll be back the moment there's more to report.